Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody had a great New Year. We were kind of cold down here in Atlanta, so I hope everybody else had a nice warm by the fireplace New Year, or at least had a nice blanket or coat. But I want to welcome you to Friday Night Bingo. I am so excited about this particular one because it is about the Native Americans Project on WikiTree. And I know that throughout my travels of my own personal ancestry, I have tons of myths, folklore, and probably a lot of false stories too about having Native Americans in my own line. You guys probably do as well. And not only that, there's a lot of DNA questions that you guys might have. And I just want to start off by saying we're not really going to talk about DNA and Native American bloodlines in this particular bingo presentation because I think we could talk about 8 hours straight on just Native Americans, American Indians, Indians in general as well in DNA. So we're not going to talk specifically about that on this bingo. But what we are going to talk about is the project on WikiTree and what they're doing and how you can help. And this project is so awesome. It actually has something for everybody. Let me go ahead and make this screen a little bit bigger. I put the link down. If you want to come to this project now, you can. Otherwise, you're fine just looking at the screen. And we're going to start bingo in a moment. But the first thing to do is kind of introduce you to what this project is. So when we get to the bingo words, it'll make a little bit more sense of what's going on. Now, the reason also why I love this project, it's a challenging project. We need to really be sensitive to what we're doing with the Native Americans and how we classify them. And this particular project has it spelled out perfectly. So if you're going to work with Native Americans with WikiTree, definitely spend some time. I know that I could probably spend a day or two on this project page and just learn how WikiTree would like us to go through and classify and label and categorize and what they expect from the profiles as well. So this is just an awesome project with details, lots and lots of details. If you want to join, it's pretty similar. To join, you would go to the join on the G2G and say you'd like to join. Let me scroll on down. Now they have a lot of goals and they have a lot of categorization that they're working on, but this is where I wanted to kind of pause for a second so you can see, and I will bring this up to full screen a little bit better. So myths and legends, raise your hand. Let me do this way. Raise your hand if you have myths or legends of having some type of Indian in your ancestor line. And I could tell you that a quick story on mine. My great grandmother was born in Kansas in a teepee, and she eventually made her way back to where her family was originally from, the Virginia Highlands, the West, which is now kind of state of West Virginia, and full full American Indian dress. The dress was perfect. She walked and kind of paddled along. She had a peace pipe she smoked from every day. She had dark hair, dark eyes, and olive complexion. She had a lot of recipes that a Native American might make. And guess what? I have zero Native American DNA. I know I said we wouldn't really talk about DNA, but I just want to point out that that's a myth in my family and my ancestors. And yes, there are photos of her entire life like this and claiming that she was American Indian. What I feel is that she was probably born near a reservation, maybe even on a reservation, but was not a true full-blooded Native American. So again, raise your hand if you have a myth or legend of an ancestor, or if you have an idea that you might have Native American ancestry. Again, let's talk about this project though. We have the Descendants of Pocahontas team. I don't know if a lot of you watched the PBS series recently on Finding Your Roots, and Edward Norton was on there. and he was traced back to Pocahontas. So that's kind of an interesting tie back to genealogy on TV that we all kind of watch in common with. Okay, I want to talk about what they're doing here. So this project, they are hard at work behind the scenes. They are working on the categories. This is a tremendous amount of work to do on all the different tribes that are in Native America. So right now, they currently have the ones that you see listed here. Does not mean you can't work on other ones. You just might want to seek guidance on the ones that you might be working on that are not listed here. And we know the stickers, and every tribe that they have in WikiTree does have its own particular and very specific sticker. So I want to point that out. If you're doing profile improvements, again, this would be another raise your hand. If you're doing the 15 for 15, these could be profile improvements as well. The naming, as we know, for example, let me show you. This is going to be Pocahontas, and look at her name. So this project will actually, if you take the time to read their guidelines and their help guides, they will actually tell you how best to categorize the Native Americans that you might be working on. And this is tricky because, as you know, you want to get that last name correct when you first create the profile. So this is really a way that they are helping lead you through. So there's no question about what to expect them and also how to do this. I love this profile. Look how detailed this profile is. Isn't it beautiful? It's an absolutely beautiful profile. So if you get time sometime this weekend, feel free. Come up and look at Pocahontas. And I really love this too. They have the disputed family. This is like a research note, but they have it very clearly labeled so you can see it. So there's no question at all that there are some myths and folklore in this. But this is a beautiful, beautiful profile by the project. I love this one. Okay, that is really the main part that I wanted to show you on the particular project's homepage. We're going to dig a little deeper, and you can see some samples, and we'll look at profiles, and we'll look at that in just a minute. I want to dig deeper. So for those of you that want to talk about sourcing, this project also will help you with that. But the first thing that you need to know is probably going to be the Dolls Act. And if you're not familiar with the Dolls Act, please take your time to come to this page. Basically, what this was a way for the U.S. government to allot territory, the lands, the plots to individual Native Americans as opposed to an entire block to a tribe. So if you think about your entire family, so what you would do is instead of saying, okay, well, Sandy's family gets this whole block, they would say, Sandy gets this block, Sandy's brother gets this plot, and so on and so on. So that's kind of in a nutshell what the Dolls Act is, but definitely read this page for a better description and a little bit of a history lesson as well as you go through it. So I want to point out too that the Dolls Commission did create what they call the 5 civilized tribes. Does anybody want to take a guess why they were classified as civilized? I'll give you a few seconds to type it in. So we have the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Muscogee, and the Seminole Indians by the U.S. government were classified as the 5 civilized tribes. And if you know, feel free to put that in. Definitely come here, read about the Dolls Act. It is a tremendous amount of work that they put on this page. Now let's talk about sources for individuals. So for individuals, then that would be the Dolls rolls. And most people have heard of this. They might confuse the act and the rolls as one. They're not quite, they're similar, but the Dolls rolls are going to be what the actual listing is for the individuals. Let me scroll down. I love this too. This is going to be a census card from a Cherokee roll. This is a fabulous source. If you're into sources as much as I am, you look at this, and this is a fabulous source. This is actually a source that was already on WikiTree, but you can find these in Family Search, and you can also find them in Ancestry and Fold3. So you can find them in those locations. This is Ancestry sources. And what is fabulous about this is they'll list it. I just did a general search. This is not, the huge, long, all the roles. I just did just a general search on females during a certain time period. But you'll see the very first one is Anna Ingram, and her tribal affiliation is Cherokee by blood. And then there's an image there. You can grab the source from that as well. So let's go back to the Dawes rules for a second. So what this is this is going to allot your ancestor, if you have Indian ancestors, on these pages. And this, let me back this down just a little bit so you can see it better. This will also give you the flow chart on how to find the records for the 5 civilized tribes of Oklahoma. By the way, it wasn't just the Cherokee that had the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma. And then this flow chart here tells you step by step by step how to find the source information for your particular ancestor, or if you're just working on a random profile and want to add the Native Americans to WikiTree, that's fabulous, and we're thankful for that too. But this will give you step by step on what you need to do. Okay, I didn't get any answers on the 5 civilized tribes, so I'll go ahead and tell you before we move on. The 5 civilized tribes are called that because they did trade with the white, or they assimilated with the white. And that's why they are called the 5 civilized tribes. Okay, let's go ahead and move along. Then another part that I wanted to show you on this particular project is the Cherokee. I find that as I research, and again, keep in mind my research for my ancestors is along the Virginia line mostly. So Virginia, the Carolinas, West Virginia, which wasn't a state way, way, way back then, and then also Georgia. Everywhere I turn, I find a relative, an ancestor, a friend, a next door neighbor who swears that they are Cherokee and that their ancestors are Cherokee. So I thought I'd just start showing you the Cherokee page first, because that's what I'm familiar with as well. And what is great, you'll see that they have listed the 5 civilized tribes at the top, but they also will tell you per state, which is handy because when you're looking for a particular tribe, it's important that you get it right. It's not always just going to be Cherokee. And I'll explain that in just a second. As you come down, this is the top level Cherokee Native American category. And this is where I said, this project has something for everybody. If you are curious about Native Americans and want to learn more, you can come to this particular project and start adding profiles from the needs profiles category. If you're curious about the military and that's really what you like, you can see that we've got some military categories too that you can add to. I know I'm talking about Cherokee, but one of my favorite military categories, of course, is Navajo Code Talkers. And you've also can add the principal chiefs. There's a lot of work still to do on this project. So if you think that they're pretty much finished and done, they're not quite. There's still a lot to do on this particular one. And you've got American people of Cherokee descent. And you'll notice there's a list here. Anytime you come to a category page like this in general, this is just a cool little WikiTree tip. At the very top of these category pages, and it might sound a little creepy, you can do this cemetery pages. You can do this with any type of page that collects the category of people. If you click on My Connections, there's always going to be a My Connections up here. And then you can see how you're related to people in that particular list. This is handy for me. And the reason why I say that is because when I'm trying to prove or disprove these myths and folklores of my own Native American ancestry, I can find those click on those connections and kind of narrow down and say, yeah, that's way too far. I don't think that that's going to come back to my family. And I probably do not relate to that particular line. So remember, anytime you're on an interesting category page, click on the My Connections and it'll show you how you're connected. Okay, and this is just showing you again all the different areas for the Cherokee. And we're just talking about Cherokee here. Keep in mind, there are a lot of tribes out there. So for the Cherokee, we have Southeast Alabama. We also have the Appalachian Cherokee Nation of Virginia. We have the Trail of Tears if you want to document those that have moved. You have some more in Alabama. We also have the state recognized. So you either have a federal recognized and you can also have a state recognized tribe. Those are two very, very different things. And you'll learn about that if you read the project pages, which are awesome. They're great. Okay, let's talk about tribes. Remember I said there are a lot of tribes. So in WikiTree, there are. There are 498 tribes categories in WikiTree that you can add to. So for those of you that are on the East Coast, you would have different tribes probably from those on the Northwest Coast or even Southwest Coast. So look here. If you recognize any of them from your ancestors, you might want to explore them and see. Let's look at the Lakota real quick. And you'll see under the Lakota, they have the sub-tribes under their categories. That's why I said you always want to make sure that you know which tribe that you're in. Sometimes just saying Lakota, that is a too high level. If you can find the source to bring it down to a particular place, I won't even try to pronounce the name, but this will give you an idea. This is a part of the Lakota tribe, but this gives you a more specific pinpoint area. And we'll look at Rattling Blanket Woman Lakota. And sometimes this is all you get, but also make sure that you do research notes. If you have ideas or information that you cannot source, sometimes these can be challenging profiles. Definitely add search notes to that as well. That gives you a couple ideas. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that sometimes those higher categories need to be brought down into more specific. And there are sources out there for you. We already talked a little bit about how there's a military sector within the Native Americans as well. And we've already talked a little bit about Pocahontas. I want to show you one more profile. This is a great example of the name. So if you just looked at the name up top, you would probably not get, or and didn't look at the picture, you probably not guess that this particular gentleman was Sitting Bull. And the great thing, project pages help you out. They help you with how to say the names, how to put them in WikiTree, how to identify them, how to source them. This is a really great project. Sometimes we tend to come into the Native Americans as our normal sourcing for a John Smith or a John Poling. And what you need to do for the Native Americans is dig a little deeper. These are not going to be these really quick profiles that you do and just throw up a WikiTree and walk away. These are going to be ones you're going to research, you're going to explore, you're going to learn so much history. You're going to love doing these profiles, and it'll be such a great accomplishment when you're done with them. Another beautiful, beautiful profile. I'm telling y'all, the Native American Project has some of the most beautiful profiles. I can spend days just reading them. I don't need to go to Wikipedia. I could just hang out at WikiTree and look at the profiles. I love them. Okay, so for those of you that maybe came in a little late, let me go ahead and put up the bingo cards. We're going to have 2 bingo cards. John, I'm going to let you pronounce Sitting Bull's official name. I won't try to do that. And Billy, you'd have to really go check out the particular project. They have the links to the dolls rolls. You can go, like I said, to Fold 3. You can go to Family Search. You can go to Ancestry. There's archives too that you can go to, but it really would depend on which tribe and what area and the date, of course, that you gave. So the best thing to do would be to go to the project page after bingo, of course, if we play our bingo, and check it out and see. And remember that they were originally for the 5 civilized tribes. Okay. Well, Stephen, thank you for your service project. That's awesome. Been glad to have you. Okay, Stephen, do you have your bingo card? Everybody have their bingo card? Let me give you the rules of the bingo. There will be 2 bingo games. And this is going to be the first one. And you can get bingo on your card. I have a sample card. So you can get it this way, or diagonal. Just when a word or phrase is called out, just click on the word or phrase box. Oh, that's true, Stephen. You can't win because you won 2 weeks ago, I think. And how do I know who won bingo? What you need to do is the first person that actually has bingo needs to be quick draw. It needs to type the word bingo in a comment. And the first one that says bingo wins. And I'll tell you what you win once we get a winner. Let's see. And yeah, Nancy, that is funny that you mentioned that because my sister-in-law does real-time bingo at her church in Maryland. And I swear that lady has about 30 cards and, she can dab them all the way through real quick. So yeah, only 1 card at a time. Stephen, did you get your bingo mug yet? This is what he's talking about. Let me show you. This is the Friday night bingo mug, highly prized, brand new to WikiTree's store. It's fabulous. It has hot chocolate in it right now, which is even more better. Okay, so your first word is going to be Spokane. And you would think that I'm using this word because Native Americans might be there, but this is actually a variation of a Native American word. Shasta Mountains, Shasta, is also a variation. And Mobile, this is in Alabama. And Mobile is actually a variation of a term that Native Americans would have used way, 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 way back. Teton Mountains, again, another location. But you can kind of, as you pronounce it in your head, you can kind of hear the Native American language as well. Yuma. Anybody close? Anybody getting close? Total. Well, this one's the easy one, right? But this also gives me an opportunity to mention that when we're talking about Native Americans, we are talking going up into Alaska too. It's not just the continental United States. TP. I already gave you my TP story. Ooh, John's got 3. Wichita, a location that actually has a variation from a Native American word. Love this one. Walla Walla. Aha. That's true. Azure and Steven won. I think you guys, no, I think you guys won 1 week after each other. Oh, Emily, you're close. Alabama. And yes, I'm laughing because it is definitely true that Alabama is a variation of a Native American word, and also they were located in the northern part. It is part of all Americas, but you'd be amazed how many people don't consider that American Indian or Native Americans would be in Alaska. I don't know why, but I used to get that question a lot. Well, would that be Alaska too? And Billy, you're close. Those are my old genealogy days. Biloxi. I can see that's again is another variation, but I can also tell you that there was a small tribe there. For those of you that are in the Southern Colonies Project as well, there were a lot of Native Americans there in the Southern Colonies, especially the lower Southern colonies. And I could tell you that I might be giving a hint up already, but the province of Georgia was actually created to be a buffer between Spanish Florida and the other colonies, but also as well the Native Americans. And Canada, Mexico, South America. The Missouri River, not only a location, but Missouri is a variation of a Native American word. In Erie, of the Lake Erie, will be the same. Not only the location where Native Americans were, but also a variation of an Indian word. This one shocked me. Miami. This one totally shocked me. And this is more leaning towards variation of a word. And the Seminole Indians were mostly down in that part of Florida. Natchez. I don't know if anybody has been on the Natchez Trace Drive. That's a beautiful drive. It goes through Tennessee. Who did we get it? Emily. Congratulations, Emily. Okay. So, Emily, here's the deal, and you're going to love this. Let me bring this up real quick. You get to either a t-shirt or mug, and remember, this mug, highly prized, brand new. It's so cool. Look how neon it is. It's so cool. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you email, and I'll also let her know too. Let me bring up her email list. There we go. So Emily, you'll want to email Eowyn and let her know that you won the January 6th Bingo 1. And what she'll do is she'll get in touch with you and she'll let you know where you can do your shopping at. So you can either get a t-shirt, and there's different t-shirts. You don't have to do a Friday Night Bingo t-shirt, or a mug. It seems to be that the mugs are just the most popular right now. And then, hi, Karen. John, you must have looked at my list. You're cheating. Okay, so do we have any questions at all about the Native American Project? If I could stress anything, let me bring up my screen one more time. Give me 1 second to do that. There we go. If I can stress anything is, if you do not see the tribe listed here, please consult with the project, because they are working on the behind the scene categories. It's a lot of work to do this. It's a lot of tribes. And then remember, we showed you the subcategories under the tribes. So their big ask and request is that they trying to avoid the duplicates. So if you have a category, a tribe category that you do not believe is there, or you can't find it, or you need a new one, just reach out to them. It's a great group. I all of them are so easy to work with. They are so much fun to work with, and as you see, they create really, really awesome profiles. So we have a lot. We have a lot. Does anybody have a tribe that's not one of the 5 civilized tribes that your ancestors maybe have come from? Or maybe where you live now, even too. I know this is a lot. This is almost 500 tribes that are listed, and this is just the basic. This isn't the subcategories, so this is a lot. I know I grew up in a part of Maryland. I'm trying to find it. There we go. And every year, the Piscataways would have an event to try and educate people on their culture. It included, the dancing, the food, and their structure as a community, but they really were just trying to educate the community around, though this is pretty much the Washington, D.C. area, but Maryland, on who they are, and just wanted to get that out. And a lot of times we don't know who the individual tribes are. Some were a little bit more aggressive than others, and some were not. So that's why you end up also with the 5 civilized tribes that did do economy and did work with the whites. And let me bring this up too. This is a good one. I will let Azure also talk about it in the chat, but I can see so many one-place studies that also work. So again, the Native American project, it has so much. You can work on it individually. If you just want to work and learn about a particular tribe, or maybe a particular tribe in a particular area where you live, or a one-place study, or the military and war, or the unsourced. We've got a lot that you can definitely look at. And let's see, Margaret, interest in Chickasaw. I have just a few knowledges of Chickasaw. And I know that in my area, the northwest Georgia mostly has a lot of Indian mounds that you can go to as well and climb them and go inside. There are mounds of dirt that look and very tall, like the pyramids in Mexico. And then Nancy Piscataway. I know that town. I've driven through that town in New Jersey. Blackfoot connections. So, Shelley, have you worked with any Native American profiles? Or maybe this will give you curiosity to dig into them. And Billy's letting us know that in Indiana, we'll find some Miami tribe as well. Wow, we have a lot of you guys that are interested in particular tribes. And I'm so proud to see that you guys are finding tribes that aren't all just Cherokee. Like I said, anytime I talk to people around me or my ancestors, my friends, they're always Cherokee. And then Nancy also said that this made her curious. And this is why I love WikiTree. Even though you might not have a personal connection or an ancestry link, these projects are still just fascinating to work on. If you like history, if you like the particular topic, if you like the particular area, or you just want to learn more about a particular tribe. In this case, if you had a one-place study, you would learn more about a particular tribe or a particular area. Cemetery project as well. A particular cemetery that you might be interested in. I'll use an obvious one like Arlington that you just want to work on. So this is what is great, though, about WikiTree. Almost all our projects do interrelate in a lot of ways. Oh, that's a new one. The Flathead Reservation in Montana. And if you guys grab this WikiTree ID, Azor came up with a really, really good one. Let me see if I can bring this up real quick. Bear with me for just a second. Oops. And WAILAKI-2. Get that right? Yep, that looks like it, right? So this is another one. And again, why I love this, it shows collaboration. So we've got the sticker for the particular tribe that this profile was part of, but also you see that you've got the one place study. A profile can have many, many things, all in collaboration of each other. Another reason I love WikiTree. Okay, you guys ready for the second bingo card? Let me get it to you. I'll give you guys a second to bring that up. I'll bring it up on my screen as well. Okay, we're doing something a little different with this one. So I'm going to look for everyone's opinion. This is a new feature with the bingo cards, and it's kind of a bingo and a trivia. And don't worry, I'm not going to make you do the trivia part. This is just more or less an educational part of this part. I think it is, at least. Let's see. Okay, so the list of individuals who were accepted as eligible for a land allotment, and we talked about this, of 5 civilized tribes. And let me get you your bingo. This would be if you have dolls rolls on your bingo card. Let me. Okay, then we have Sitting Bull. I don't think this is working out as fun as just looking at the names. So Sitting Bull is a modern Sioux, a Dakota, and Lakota. So the word that you're looking for would be Sioux. And thanks for bearing with me, guys. This is brand new and we're kind of playing around with it. This one everybody should guess because I've talked about it a lot. If you've been outside of this particular webcast, I have talked about the Creeks a lot because I work a lot in Alabama and Georgia genealogy. So original homelands are in what now comprises southern Tennessee, much of Alabama, western Georgia, and parts of northern Florida. But they are now based in Oklahoma, and that would be a Trail of Tears there, and that would be the Creeks. Okay, this is the tribe. That territory was in the southeastern U.S. of Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, as well in southwestern Kentucky. And you're looking for the word Chickasaw. And this is a tribe originally based in the southeastern woodlands in what is now Alabama and Mississippi. In that tribe you're looking for, they're the Choctaws. You can kind of see as we're mentioning these regions how they were tightly next to each other. They were very tightly neighbored. I don't want to get this wrong. Let me look at my cheat. Okay, yeah, this one should be very, very easy. If you think you know what this one is, feel free to go ahead and type it real quick. It's Oklahoma, I'll give you a hint, Trail of Tears, and North Carolina, mostly the mountainous area, not the beaches, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. So we go back to geography. It is this section of the Appalachians, for those of you that might be on the Appalachia Project. That tribe is probably the one that we talk about the most, and that would be the Cherokee. And can I pause just 1 second if you'll let me? Yep, Marker got it. If you'll let me pause for 1 second, be very careful how you do sticker profiles. That there are some that's appropriate to put more than one sticker and some that's not. If you are a member of the Appalachia Project, you probably already know this. If you're not, we do not consider Cherokee Indians or Native Americans Appalachians. So just be mindful and respectful of their heritage. A profile can have a lot of categories and a lot of stickers, but for this particular example, we would not put an Appalachian sticker and the Cherokee tribe sticker. Okay, this one was interesting to me. The Great Basin, present day Colorado and Utah. You're looking for a tribe. And what was fascinating to me is I don't necessarily know much about the Great Basin. So I got a chance to look it up. So even when I do profiles, if I don't know an area or region that I come across, I can spend half a day researching it. And what you're looking for here is the UTE tribe. Okay. And this tribe is a pretty popular one, mostly in a lot of old Westerns, I think. Maybe just old movies, but I think it's Westerns as well. So it's an indigenous people of the Great Plains. And for those of you that came in late, I was talking about how my great-grandmother, my paternal great-grandmother, was born in Kansas in the Great Plains area, and supposedly in a teepee, full Native American dress, the shoes, paddled, had a peace pipe, and no, I have no Native American DNA. Not that you always need that to qualify as a Native American. You always need to check with that particular tribe. But this one is the Cheyenne. Ah. No, only one card per player. And guys, thanks for hanging in here with me. You'll have to let me know your opinion if you like this little trivia part of it. Okay. So this is actually legislation. So 1868 addresses the citizenship of former slaves. They were called freemen, and those slaves also were a lot of times captured or brought in and welcomed by Native American tribes. So addresses citizenship from former slaves and the indigenous peoples. This is right after the American Civil War, right at the end of it. And what this is our 14th Amendment. Anybody close? Ah, Nancy got it. Thanks, Betsy. I thought it was, since there's so much detail with this particular one, I thought this would be fun to give it a try, the new feature a try. Okay, so you are looking for a tribe that is in the southwestern United States. Azure, I was kind of hoping you would get this one. This would be another really popular one, Navajos. Okay, my apologies. This one's a really long one. This one, it should be very familiar. Yep, you guys got it. You guys are good. We've talked about this a little bit, but it was a long process in 1838, 1839. This was part of President Andrew Jackson's Indian removal policy. And this mostly applied to Cherokee Nation, but not just the Cherokee Nation. But the Cherokee Nation was forced to give up its lands east of the Mississippi. So we're still talking about the Appalachian Mountain Range pretty much. We had parts of Tennessee, parts of Georgia, parts of Virginia, but east of the Mississippi River, and they migrated to an area in present day Oklahoma. And I know you all know what this one is. So this is the Trail of Tears. If you all ever come down to Georgia, especially Northwest Georgia, look me up, let me know. There is actually a fabulous driving tour of Tears where you can stop and be a tourist, read the signs, and kind of follow their route. It's heartbreaking, it's history, it's fascinating at the same time. It's emotional. I guess that's the best way to say it. It's emotional. Okay, so Congress granted U.S. citizenship, and Sandy mistyped the word, to the indigenous people and for voting. And I've got that somewhere. Let me see. Oh, this one is very important. Yeah, how'd you know that? Okay, so I want you all to know this, that I'm going to be a little embarrassed on this. I knew it, but I didn't know it. But Irish John got the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. John, very proud of you. Azure too. This is kind of fun because we kind of learn the history about it with instead of just the words, but also you guys get to guess. Okay, you're looking for a tribe that is from the Eastern Virginia area. Another tribe that is well known in around my birth neck of the woods, and that's Powhatan. And this is probably one of the most important things to know about the Indian tribes. Every tribe has its own membership criteria. Some might only be on blood and a certain amount of blood. Others might be on descent. Others, I've known some tribes that will take in stepchildren as well. So it's really important that we don't characterize a tribe or membership as only blood or only ancestry, because it's not true. So what your word you're looking for here is the word membership. And I wanted to point this out because it's just really important that as you research your ancestry, and if you do find Native Americans, or if you do work on random Native American profiles, that you understand the tribe, who they are, where they are, their history, their travels, as well as, so important, their membership. And we talked a little bit about the Dawes Act. And the Dawes Act passed by Congress in 1887 called for that allotment of land for all Native peoples in the United States. And this is easy because I just kept it in there. It's the Dawes Act. I just wanted to point out again, this was more about giving individual as opposed to a whole tribe gets this chunk and let the tribe figure it out. Okay, so you've got 4. You guys are close. I really appreciate y'all hanging with me on a Friday night. And this was another fascinating fact for me, that there are actually 573 federally recognized tribal governments. And this is kind of like a easy cheat that you're looking for the phrase tribal governments. So in the US, I should say, that you're looking at 573 federally recognized tribal governments. Now, also keep in mind there are some that are state recognized. Usually, state are not always federally recognized. And then Congress ended this treaty making with Indian tribes. Oh, we got bingo. Congrats. Okay, Nancy, hold that thought while I finish this one, because this one you guys will find interesting. So what this is, if you remember your TV shows, your movie, your history books, and we were always making treaties with the Indian tribes. Well, guess what? That ended in 1871. There are no more treaties with the Indian tribes after that point. And the word you were looking for here, who did that? It was the U.S. Congress that did that. Okay. John. Well, John, you got the Indian Act, right? That's awesome. So, Nancy, that's awesome. Way to go. Let me tell you how to get your prize. So, what you're going to do is you're going to email Eowyn, and you're going to tell her that you won the January 6th bingo second game. There, second game. January 6th bingo second game. And she will get in touch with you and let you know how you can go shopping. You can go shopping either for that wonderful t-shirt, and there's a lot to choose from, or you could go shopping for, yes, I'm going to do it again, the mug. And there's other mugs too, by the way. I just happen to particularly like the Friday night bingo the best. Now, I think John had one question for me. So, John, you wanted to go over what was it called? I could do that super quickly if you'd like. And if those of you that don't want to hang out, want to leave, you could do that too. And if you guys like the video, that helps WikiTree out tremendously. That is such a benefit to us. All right, you only had a few more, so if you would like to drop or need to drop, feel free. Oh, sorry, John. So real quick, I'll just go over. So if you had Seminoles, I guess I could just see, let's see, base primary in the Eastern Washington State. And I might get this wrong. If I get this wrong, let me know. But it's Yakima. And let me take this down too. Give me 1 second. And I am so glad you mentioned this. If you liked the video and you watched us, guess what? You've got one for your 15 for 15 mission. And trust me, we got lots of bingo to go too, so you guys can have fun with this. Oh, good. Okay, I said it right. Okay, and then mostly in the southwestern United States. This one is a very popular one too. This one is Apache. And the Native Americans comprise nearly 1 in 10 residents of New Mexico. Billy, thank your son for us. John, share, and like if you got pizza. That's not fair. And yep, that was Apache. Okay, so Native Americans comprise. And that was an easy cheat. Sorry. That was New Mexico. Based in Northeast North America around the Turtle Island area. And I will tell you, since this came up, most of your tribes are not going to be up in the Northeast anymore. They were removed or left. And this is going to be the Iroquois. This is developed in Florida, but now based in Oklahoma with a small contingent still in Florida. I know this one, but I don't want to tell you guys. Yeah. So again, did you notice that Oklahoma? Again, we're seeing that the Indians, it wasn't just the Cherokees that went to Oklahoma. This is a fabulous one too. Can anybody tell me the answer to this? There are 326 in the United States. Relates to Native Americans. There are 326 of these in the United States. And I know there's a little delay. So I'll keep going. Yeah, that will be it. But I didn't get to all of them. Yep, that would be correct. There are 326 reservations in the United States. That number blew me away. I was fascinated. And this was based off of, I believe, 2020 numbers. Oh, Emily got it right too. My apologies, Emily. You got it right too. And Christine lived 1 block off of Piedmont. Oh, so you were really close. Okay, I just have a few more that are not coming up. I don't know why they're not coming up on the screen, but I'll go through them real quick. If you have Washington State, I think we said that. That Washington State has the most federally recognized tribes per state, and that would be home to 29 federally recognized tribes. So you're in Washington State, you have the most. Yep, you guys are getting it right. The reservations. You guys are too quick for me. You guys are smart. Okay, if you have Ottawa, Ottawa is the Eastern Woodlands, Northeast US, and Southeast Canada. Oh, John. Sorry, bye. And I think I only have one more left. And this was kind of relating back. If you have the word treaties, nearly 400 treaties were signed between Indian tribes and the U.S. until 1871. So that was a lot. So I was quite surprised how many reservations there were. And I was also surprised that there were nearly 400 treaties signed with all the Indian tribes, not just particular one. So, well, Stephen, you win the prize for having the state that has the most federally recognized tribes in the United States. So that's pretty good. Thank you guys for hanging in with me. I want to go over one last thing because you guys are going to like this one too. I'm going to go over one last thing. So we have coming up in 2 weeks. Remember, you've got Julie's date night next Friday, and then come back and see me. And we have on the 20th, we're going to have, did I get that right? Yep, I got that right. We're going to have the Italy project, and Azra's going to be back with us. And I expect everybody to have some type of Italian food with you when you're here. And also classic Disney. Who doesn't love classic Disney? So we've got 2 really good ones coming up, and you can see we've got some other really cool projects coming up too. There's a surprise for February 17th. We're trying to work it out. We'll let you know what it is. But other than that, the best thing I can say is Happy New Year. thank you so much for hanging with me on a Friday. But even more importantly, thank you for putting up with the trivia part of this. I had fun with it. I hope you guys had fun with it. And take time this weekend, go look at that Native American project. It's a lot and it's great. It's really great. So I'll say bye. Everybody have a good weekend. Stay warm.